All right, about to start on the top end here. Our brand new Y85 piston. It has the lubrication holes for the exhaust ports already pre-drilled. Some of these, I guess, I've never seen one, but apparently you have to drill your own holes. I'm not going to even get into that. The arrow points towards the exhaust side, which is forward on the engine. New wrist pin clips, and the piston ring. And the reason, of course, we're replacing it. There's the old one with all the bits of melted bearing attached to it. I could put that in, but I'm not that redneck. Alright, the process is pretty simple. The bearing's already right here. Okay. You line up your piston on the connecting rod, and then you fiddle around till you get the pin in, then put the clips. One thing about the clips, the gap on the clip, alright, it's got to not face that little opening area right there, that little where my thumb is. You got to make sure that the gap on the clips is on the opposite side of that. And off we go. Alright, piston on. Had to put the camera down because this is a two-hand job. Really easy. Just put a little bit of oil on everything as you're assembling it, and just slide the pin in with your fingers. If you have to push harder than with your fingers, you've got something that's not lined up. You need to pull it apart and have a quick look and see what's going on. Now it's going to move around a little bit. That's normal. Okay, so as long as there's not all kinds of sideways wobbly play. Alright, this is not laying it all sideways, but, and again, everything should be free. Now I can go ahead, I'm going to put the clips in, and I'm going to throw the ring on. When you do the ring, make sure you don't pull it too hard, because they are brittle and they'll snap. And the gap, when you go to force the gap over the dome of the piston and down the sides, be careful that you don't put a big gouge in the side of your piston here. Alright, piston's on, pins are in. Wait for focus here. There we go. You can just see the little clips. One thing I didn't mention before, and I wanted to just bring up before you go messing with these pins, and it's a good idea until you're ready to put the cylinder on, stuff a rag in and around here just to prevent anything from falling into your crankcase. If that clip fell into there, you'd be splitting this thing again to get it out. And Lord knows you don't want to have to go through all that again. Same for the intake side where the reeds go. If you haven't got your reeds in, put a rag in there while you're doing this, just for the sake of your own sanity. It's a good idea. Okay, piston's in, like I said. I just wanted to show you the cylinder. You've seen the piston, all the crap and corruption on that, and there is some scoring on the sides, but it wasn't certainly nothing I would ever put back into an engine. I was concerned about the cylinder, but there was a few minor surface scratches, but nothing the hone couldn't get out. You can see right there is a bit of a big one. And again, you can't even feel them with your finger. So that one there, you cannot feel it at all. So for the kid to putt around on the farm here, it's going to be fine. The hone was able to get out any scratches that were there. And we're just going to go ahead and check the ring gap here. Make sure it's good. I'm sure it will be. Everything else is fit just fine. And put our gaskets in and throw the cylinder on. Okay, cylinder went on really easy. The trick there is the piston ring. It has to be rotated to just the right spot on the piston. In this case, the gap is about here, so it's on a bit of an angle. Not quite on the intake, not quite on the exhaust, and it pops right in. And then just slowly turn it down. Lots of oil, as you can see, there's all kinds of oil here, and it'll slide right in. I just used my rubber mallet and give very super light taps here till the cylinder sat more or less flush on the block. And now we're going to go ahead and put our 4 bolts on and torque. Oh, one thing, the dowels are on the right side. Your gasket is set so it has an up and a down, and those dowels won't go, or the gasket won't go over the dowels if you have it upside down. So just make sure you got your dowels in place and lined up. Anyways, I'm going to torque that and we'll get on to it. Somebody can't wait. Yeah, things to look forward to. Back at her. Alright, cylinder's torqued. The bottom bolts are kind of goofy. You can't really get a socket on them because of the way the casting is. So I had to use a swivel socket, and even then it wasn't too straight, so kind of mucked up one of the bolts a little bit. That one was bad. This one wasn't too bad, but it's kind of an oddball design. Anyways, the new rubber seals are in. Depending on how long they've been packaged, they maybe feel like they're too big for the grooves. The outer one's fine. The inner one, it was a bitch to get in. So a little white lithium grease just to help lubricate it and to hold it in place while you put the head on is quite handy. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and throw the head on now and torque that down. Okay, she's pretty much all together now except for the left side magneto cover and the drive sprocket. I decided when I looked at it that it was a little more worn than I'd like. Since I'm putting a new chain on, I don't want to put a worn out sprocket and prematurely wear out the chain. So for 20 bucks I went and ordered one. I'm still waiting to go get the bolts, the proper bolts for the case there. There's 3 or 4 that I'm not too comfortable with, the chewed up ones. So I'm going to go and replace those. The reeds are in. Again, one bolt that doesn't match the other, so I'm going to replace that while I'm at it. I just put that in to hold it for now. There's a little arrow, you can see it there on the reed housing. It's got to point up. I don't know why. It looks identical up or down. All the bolt holes line up, and I mean there's 2 reeds, but whatever. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. And considering what I got left, I might go over and put the engine onto the frame, just so I can locate the bolts. It's got pretty good compression. I just took the spark plug out. I was sitting here kicking it, but I can't really hold the camera and kick it at the same time, so I'll wait till she's on the bike and show you the compression. But all is well in the world. Everything turns nice and freely. Alright, more to follow.